I'm, I'm here with Calvin and Steph, and we've just completed an amazing week at Rhythmia. And each week we select one person out of the field of individuals who received a miracle to kind of represent. And this week, these two amazing individuals shared so amazing in class that I couldn't pick one. So I said, how about a twofer? Which was awesome. So thank you guys for being here,
thank
Steph
you.
and Calvin. Thank you. So I'd love to know what's the kind of highlight of this week for you. What's the miracle for you this week?
Well, for me, my miracle was definitely this moment where I merged with my soul and really got to see myself in a different light that's not so constantly judgmental and so hard on myself and hard on the people around me, right? Because I'm just projecting the difficult time I'm having with myself. And I just got to have like this deep, profound level of compassion for everyone in my life, and just like this incredible perspective shift on why they are the way that they are and holding so much space for them. And I felt like I was healing generations of trauma and hurt and pain and judgment. And it felt so powerful to be in that light and in that space where I was like, this really is ending with me. And I felt it and I saw it and I could see my life moving forward and the positive impact that I would have on all the people that I would interact with moving forward. And I could just see myself as like this gift. And it's just like a culmination of the every visit that I've had here has been like deeper healing, deeper understanding. And every time I think like there can't possibly be more to learn, there can't possibly be more to understand or learn or how to love myself deeper, it just gets deeper and deeper. And it's just so much beauty. And this whole experience is such a gift. And everyone here is such a gift. The staff is such a gift. The musicians, the shamans, the people that we meet, that we get to share this experience with and grow with and trigger each other and learn from each other. And it's just like such an incredible gift. It really is. So
Thank you.
That was my week.
Well, pretty much that's I got my miracle. That said it all right there. Pretty much we're done. That's a wrap. That was awesome. Thank you. Thank you. And now I have no doubt, no pressure, Calvin. But your week was also unique and magnificent in its own way. Tell me about your week.
Yeah.
What was the highlight? What was the
key takeaway?
Yeah.
For me, I would say like put the title on the page. It was Unconditional Love. She's shown me how to be more unconditionally loving to myself and therefore the world more and more each time I've come here, and what unconditional love truly looks like, and that it's kind of beyond all our perceptions of this reality. Like it goes so much deeper to spirit. She taught me how to just love the spirit of myself, but also in others, and how that opens up the world to you, because then you don't have any expectations of what people should be or what you should be. You get to kind of just open up to, I love the show, the love, but the one power, if you will, Wheel of Time is like the thread of life.
Yes, I'm reading it right now. I'm on book
7. Great show. But yeah, it's like I feel like that's kind of where I'm at, where she's like opening me up to this one power, and it was kind of intense because it was like, oh my God, is this like a higher calling? And then I felt my ego kind of come in. But then when I spoke to a shaman one night, he reminded me to just continue doing the work and remind myself to be of service to others. And so it was like each night I was kind of shedding this old egoic small self version of love into a new, more truer form of love. And I would say that's my beautiful this week. Yeah.
And for me, that isn't necessarily the dissolution of the ego. It's the maturation of the ego, right?
Yeah.
Like, did you find that the sort of, you said the egoic sense of small self, the one that's comparing and superior, inferior, or having all that stuff going on. And it sounds like you upgraded to the ego that just knows your own love, your own beauty, your own worth, your own value, and that doesn't take away from anybody else's love, worth, and value,
right?
And beauty.
Yes.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. So a little bit about first of all, you didn't know each other before coming here. So this week, but then you guys sort of like, you guys gonna hit it off this week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? You've both been here before.
Yes.
This is your second time for both of you.
Third for me.
Third time. So you had just kind of referenced like, I didn't think there was more, but there always is.
Well, today Johnny said, it was so interesting. He said, we're an unpeelable onion.
Mm-hmm.
Like there is no end to the layers. I was like, wow, so true.
And it doesn't mean we have to be in deep trauma
No.
all the time, like excavating every little thing, but there's so much subtlety.
Yeah.
You know?
For me, I don't think I did deal with trauma, but there was so much more enlightenment where I just could see myself and the way that I show up in the world. And I could really have a moment to celebrate myself and to acknowledge all the good that I do and the impact that I make on the people in my life.
So let's hear about that. What do you do? Where you tell people where you're from, what do you do, and what is all that good that you do in the world?
Yeah.
What is that impact that you make in the world?
So I am a part-time artist and also a part-time women's circle guide. So I host community circles for women to come in and share space, and we do wisdom sharing, Reiki, sound bowl healing, guided meditation. Sometimes there's like workshops that we can do with writing prompts, and there's just so much power when community comes together and shares in the good and the bad.
Yeah.
And healing through like love and frequencies and just, the common thread of humanity. And so that actually came to me to move more into that space after my first visit here, because I was in the process of starting to shift my art studio into an art gallery. And I was at Art Basel, and I was asked to come the day before coming. They said, there's one more seat available. Do you want to come to Rhythmia? And I was like, yeah, for sure. I'll leave Art Basel. And I did. And after that week, that's when I was like, I think, your purpose is more community driven to host these circles and to hold space for people, because I firmly believe that the greatest gift you can ever receive is healing. And the even greater gift is to be able to share it and give it away too.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
One of the big things for you, so I love for both of you, and I can't wait to get to you as well, Calvin, but hold on one second.
We're chilling.
I know you're like, I didn't say anything. First, that where you are in your life now is a result of earlier, like your life started to shift, and as you shifted and expanded in each different phase, there was a moment where you're like, I could come back to Rhythmia and level up for the next thing that's expanding in my life based on all the work that I've done. So here you are for your third time. And this week, I'll just share a little bit on one of the ceremonies. There's one of our very traditional ceremonies. If women are on their moon for this particular one ceremony, there's a separate ceremony for the women. And a lot of times people feel disappointed, right? Like, I'm not able to be in this. And it's always perfect. But you had an amazing experience in our women's circle.
I did.
And I think that was one of the things that really had me want to invite you for this interview. Will you share a little bit about first your disappointment, yes, and then what
Yeah, so I actually got my moon a week early. So I was like, maybe it's not, I'm not meant to be there. I should probably, move my trip. And my dog had emergency surgery the night before I came. So I was like, no, these are all signs, like I shouldn't go. But I was like, no, like you have to trust this process. There's a calling. And so I did all 3 ceremonies while on my moon. And on the night of Yahé, I went to a moon circle, which I think should be like done regardless if you're on your moon or not. And just to be like with a group of really grounded and aligned healing women was so healing for me. I shared things that I've never shared with anyone in my entire life.
Wow.
So to have that release and have that support and finally allow myself to receive was life-changing. And we sat in circle and we held hands and we sang songs, and the 2 medicine women would come over to us and like put their hands on our wombs and blow the Florida water on our bodies, and just like say beautiful prayers and chants. And then one thing that was just one of the most beautiful experiences of my life was a guided meditation where we entered our own wombs and we were healing in our wombs, and then we entered our mother's wombs and her mother's wombs and her mother's womb and her mother's womb, and we danced with our ancestors and we connected with them, and it was so vivid and so beautiful and so beautifully guided. The words that were used were just and it was so incredible, because as a woman, you really only know ever like your grandmother or your great grandmother, but to be able to connect and fully feel the power of all of these women of your lineage was just so beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love it. And I just love what you got out of it as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Brother Calvin.
Yes.
Well, you had an amazing week too. And this
Yes.
is your second time. And
Yes.
this is a transition in your life.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about some of the transitions that have been going on in your life and what brought you here.
Yeah. So I've had a calling to live my life more from a place of peace and presence and purpose for a while. And I was kind of working through some stuff last time I was here where what I was doing didn't feel in line with my purpose in life. It felt in line in many ways. I was working with the animals, I was healing with them, but something about the industry I was in was not in line with who I was. And so I was really seeking.
Can I just stop there?
Mm-hmm.
Tell us what that industry was, because it's super cool.
So
And you're pretty good at what you do.
I was a show jumper, equestrian show jumper for many, many years, since I was 6 years old. I in and out of it a little bit. I worked in film and television for a little bit in my adult life, and then was called back to it for the last 5 or 6 years now. And I was called back to it for
He's
a reason.
really good. I saw a video.
I was called back to it for a reason. And I think the major reason was that these animals are going to help you heal. And I needed them in my life at that time for them to show me where I needed to grow, because it was a really, really hard sport to do, because it didn't really matter how much work I was doing or what I was doing. I was still working with an animal who has its own living, breathing environment and reality going on. And to become attuned to that was a really important process for me to work through, because I think it was calling me to be attuned to all beings.
Mm-hmm.
Horses is a little bit easier because they're so spiritual. But so I don't know. I hope that someday, my best friend reminded me this, because I was like, I'm done with horses, I'm moving on. And he was like, you'll never be done with horses, like they are a part of you. And so he reminded me of that gift. But it's called me into this next stage of life, which is being a techno DJ.
Super cool.
And doing the healing around that, because I was called to that, being a raver, going out in New York, and I was like, whoa, here I am feeling these things. I'm on the dance floor. I feel this connection with everybody, how that DJing is making me feel. I'm working through things, stuff is coming up. It's emotional, it's spiritual for me. But, a lot of it was interlaced with drugs and partying and all this stuff. So I didn't know what was authentic about it quite yet. And then as I started to make my own music and produce, it's actually what saved me. Being in recovery, I didn't really have anything to live for when I was in the depths of my addiction in New York City. And all of a sudden I remember my partner at the time was like, well, why don't you just make your own music? And I was like, whoa, that's groundbreaking. So I started doing that. And it was the first thing in life where such love for the process was coming out that time ceased to exist.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my God, like I eat, sleep, breathe this. It's all I want to do. I feel a calling to this. And I was like, well, you know what, those ideas about, maybe taking my own life and things like that, which get very dark, had less pull on me. Mm-hmm. And I had something to live for, which was music. And then I started to get into recovery, and I learned that it was all an artistic process. Healing, it's all one and the same. And as I would heal and as I would work through things, I was working through the same thing simultaneously with my art and with my music. And so deciding to come back here, having the transition from being in this cutthroat industry that was healing in some ways, not in other ways, and moving towards something that's very in line with who I am. I'm already starting to feel the effects of the connection with my music. Playing, I feel connected to the audience. I'm helping them go introspective. It's a surreal experience.
And were there aspects of this week that helped in insights, downloads, understandings about the next phases, next steps?
Yeah. So one night it was a very intense message, like, you are a shaman. And I was like, whoa, like, what do I do with that? Like I didn't know how to process it after. I was very curious. And, I think I was obviously coming from this perception that I needed to come here and be a shaman and lead these ceremonies. And it didn't necessarily have to be that. I think she was showing me that I have healing powers with no matter what I do, whether it's a conversation with someone, whether it's my music, playing music, it's my way of being.
Yes, right.
Is
exactly.
how
you don't have to do anything.
Right.
It's just your being.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's less of a burden, like that's more freeing. And so what's cool about that is waking up to this purpose that I get to bring healing to every set I play.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I'm in the room with that audience, let's heal. And for me, that is such a deep purpose. And I know will create a beautiful longevity of a career to be doing. And it's also opened me up to other things. Like I've been called to do acting and to dance and to teach and things like that. And it's like, it doesn't matter what you do. It's how you do it, and do you do it from love to help others and also to help yourself. Yeah.
That's so beautiful. And I remember Reverend Michael said to me that, he said, I used to pray that people would heal by just being around me.
Be a safe haven for them.
Or just to be around, just to be in this energy that you're healing. And I just heard that when you were talking.
Yes.
Like your prayer is that people are healing just by hearing this music.
Yes.
Just by being in this presence, that there's healing happening.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I got a little bit of an affirmation about it, because my friend who I'm very close to, he just played a set, and my girlfriend reached out to me. She was like, it was his best set ever. And I was like, oh, cool. And she was like, he said he was very inspired by you. And I was like, oh, I've just made it, like that's so cool. Because it was like, he felt the love, and therefore he took that love and he transformed it into his own version of it. And like, how cool is that? Yeah.
I think that's the key, right? Is that I think that's part of the new Aquarian, what we're moving into, is that our greatest gift to the collective is sharing our gifts and talents. Mm-hmm. And as we do that, you never know who you spark and what their impact is. And I feel like this is not for me to be talking, because I get to talk all the time. Anything else you guys would like to say?
The floor is open to you.
Go ahead, camera here. Just, I guess what I was going to say is that's the antidote to any sense of worry or fear that I have about our current global economic and geopolitical situations. Is that we're all just doing our work in our own little way. You're going to be doing your work, in your art studio, turn to art gallery, and in your women's circles, and you're going to be DJing and doing this, and I'm going to be doing this, and we're going to all be touching other people's lives, and they're going to go out and touch other people's lives, and that's the way we change the world.
Yeah.
With love, sweet love. All right. Sorry. So, okay. I guess I'll ask you what your favorite things about. What did you love this week, or what did you find helpful and healing, or, on the non-medicine side, like the resort grounds, the food, the people, the glasses. I mean, did I say the glasses? You don't have to talk about the glasses, but the classes, the colonics, there's another C word. Just anything.
Yeah, I think you just named them all, actually. Yeah, I mean, what I love about this program, and it's so funny because my first time coming here, I was so egoic about it. I was like, what could I possibly learn? Like, I've sat with ayahuasca before. I've had thousands of meditation hours. I've had a year of silence and vipassana. Like, what could
But you did a year of silence?
I know, right?
Yeah.
That was
a year.
Yeah.
Where?
In Colorado. I just left my life and was meditating for like 4 hours a day, and I just kept hearing these voices tell me to go certain places, and I just had to go, and I relinquished like all communication. I was just me and the universe vibing and riding out for
That's amazing.
Year. Yeah. And so I got here and I was like, what could I possibly learn? I've reached the pinnacle of all knowing. I've seen it. I've touched God. I know it. And then I get here and I'm like, oh, I know nothing. I know absolutely nothing. But the program is so meticulously planned. And that was my biggest, like what I was impressed with the most. Because I'm like, oh, I really don't have like the attention span to sit and listen to 2-hour talks. But when you're literally seeing, you guys are masters at your craft, the speakers, and you're watching people transform in real time and have these processes that they probably have been working on for years, but you guys are able to marry the medicine experience with their experience, and not therapeutic, but it's more like it's like surgical, what you're doing with their experience and allowing them to see it. And it just in real time, you're watching people transform. And that is like, that fills me.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, It's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What would your other like
the extracurriculars?
Yeah.
The people.
Yeah.
I have 2 way different experiences between last time and this time, but it was interesting how I felt more supported as a community this time, where we all felt a part and that we were here to support each other in different ways. And I learned I'm very socially awkward, have been in the past, a lot less now actually. And what was cool about this week was just like being in the energy of anybody and being like, oh, this person has something to teach me right now, and just like really humbly being like, or like if you were like, oh, I didn't want to be next to this person. And then all of a sudden they share some story with you where you're like, wow, that really resonates with my life a lot,
right.
And you would have never, your own preconceived notions, you would have maybe never put yourself next to that person before. So that part was really, really cool and eye-opening for me. And then I would just say like the level of care for yourself that the environment, the people here urge you to have through the massages, through the colonic, like through the sauna. It's like constantly be checking in with your body. What does your body need right now? And then the healing touch of someone else's hands, working through your muscles, like that part is just really cool to take away, like, oh, how do I incorporate this into my day-to-day life? And also where do those powers fit in with me? Can I help people in that way too? So something about like just the environment here, like all the staff and everybody makes you feel so loved. And I think sometimes we walk away with it like, oh, that's just like a little paradise, but it's not actually. That's what life can be. Community is supposed to be this
like
way.
Anybody coming to one of your shows could feel that.
Yes. Yeah. And it's like, okay, yeah, some people you may not connect to on a deep level all the time, but like this was how life was supposed to be experienced, like with a community to help build us up when we're going through something. Something that was really cool that I realized I had healed this week. I was really going through a tough day on Wednesday morning. She was there for me. And I think you asked me, what am I going to do? And I said, I need to go be in community. Mm-hmm. It was actually when we were in class, and I think you called it my emotional orgasm.
Yes. That's right. We were doing a guided meditation. And he was like, oh. And the poor person sitting next to him was having a really hard time. Like, I can't feel anything. I can't feel, what's up with that? I want what he had.
But it was cool because I think in the past I would have chosen to isolate. Mm-hmm. And been like, I need to get away from everybody. But what this place taught me from last time, and then here I was like, no, I need to be around community. I need to start processing this with people, because they're going to help me feel seen, and they're going to help me work through whatever it is.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, it's been a freaking amazing week at Rhythmia. As always, it really is. It really is. And it's different every week. It's different every week. You guys have had an experience of seeing how radically different it is, but it's still
and the material is always different too. It's the same but different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Depending on where you're at in life too. I actually felt like I could digest what you guys were saying so much more this time because I wasn't stuck in myself. So you would say something like, yeah, I feel that in my life. Like it was just one thing after another, where last time I'd be like, I don't think they're right about that, or that seems weird. So it was interesting that like I could just be present with what you guys were saying and feel seen and or challenged, depending on what it was. But it was like, oh, I'm a different person this time around. That's what's changed.
Totally. Yeah. And we're different. Right. And the material is like the same, but there's like so many different. I've been teaching that same material for 8.5 years. But I have, grown in my understanding and my own. Yeah, it's like, it's deep.
Yeah.
It's deep. And I'm so grateful for both of you.
Thank you.
It's
We're
been
grateful for
really
you,
nice
too.
this
Yeah.
week to have you both. And thank you so much for saying yes to doing the interview.
Of course.
It's been awesome. And I can't wait to see what, like, because you both are in these sort of transition stages in your life.
Mhm.
So keep me posted on all the
Will
good
do.
Yeah.
unfolding in both of your lives. And thank you all so much for joining us. And come see us. Come down and see us. Come on. All right.
Bye.
Peace and blessings.